40 years, 40 plus years in the making. I grew up on Uli Jon Roth back in the 80s, and he's coming around today. We're doing an old school radio interview. Uli, welcome to Metal Mayhem ROC and Metal Devastation Radio. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
So we're doing another trip around America, but this time, well, the world at that. This time, tell us a little about your 3-hour extravaganza, the Interstellar Sky Guitar Tour. This isn't just a greatest Uli tour. This has a lot of meat to it. Tell us about what you got going on, Uli.
Yeah, it's actually quite unusual, very unusual format. It is a 3-hour show with an intermission, but it's actually two shows, in one. So the first half is completely different from the second half. The first half is me on my own solo. It's called An Evening with Uli Jon Roth. And there's a big screen behind me, an orchestra on the screen, and I'm playing some pieces with that orchestra on the screen. Also wrote quite a few pieces for this. They're new, but they're not rock. It's just music, with a storyline attached. And last but not least, I'm doing a little TED talk, 15 minutes of introducing my new book, In Search of the Alpha Law. So all that is quite colorful for the first half. And then after the intermission, I come back with all guns blazing and a full rock band, and we're doing a set of my early stuff from Scorpions to Electric Sun, Hendrix, the whole rock. So yeah, that's it. There's two shows for the price of one, so to say.
Well, the exciting thing here is a quick summary. When Uli left the Scorpions in the late 70s and you started your Electric Sun solo period, you also introduced this new state-of-the-art EXCALIBUR 7-string guitar. Quickly tell us non-guitar heads exactly what this guitar is and why is it warranted a celebration 40 years later, because it is state-of-the-art. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called a sky guitar. It's an invention that I made after I left the Scorpions. I used to love the Fender Strat Stratocaster guitar, but there was one issue that I always had with it, and that was the range of the guitar or any electric guitar on the market. I always wanted to play a little higher than the guitar would allow. And eventually, I came up with the idea of creating a new shape, which would allow us to add a lot of extra frets. And that's what we did, And that's how the Sky guitar came into being in the early 80s. It's basically an electric guitar with a vastly extended range. Like a normal guitar has about 3.5 octaves of range. The Sky guitar has almost 6. Particularly when I have the 7-string version. So because of that, I'm able to play classical violin concertos on the guitar in the same way that you can on a violin, but sounding like a guitar, which I love. And that's it, and I'm featuring several of these Sky guitars. Excalibur is one of the more recent ones, but I'm also playing my Mighty Wing guitar, which I used to play for 20 years exclusively. Nowadays, I'm playing several models.
Uli, excuse me, let me ask you, what led you to create this more adaptive guitar? Was it the desire to create this new, bigger sound on some of these track or some of these projects?
No, it wasn't so much. No, it wasn't so much trying to sound bigger. I just wanted to have more notes available. The guitar is a great player in the mid range, the normal electric guitar, but I wanted to go into the violin range, which is
Mm.
much higher, or also lower, like a cello or a piano. And so the Sky Guitar allows that. So I can musically, I've got a much extended scope to play with. That's what it was, and that's what it is.
Let me ask you, how come this new technology, or did it gain traction? Were there more other styles, other companies? Did you patent it, or is it just something that you exclusive to Uli?
When I first came up with it, there were immediately some copycats. I remember Washburn, they put out a 35 fret guitar immediately, almost immediately, and they was a blatant copy, but it was fine. I just do my thing. And then when I came up with the idea for the 7 string, it was probably the first 7 string guitar in rock music, my Mighty Wing. But then Steve Vai, Cotton Dunn, and lots of other guitar players did that too. So now a 7 string guitar is one of the standards, and particularly in some of the metal bands. Oh yeah.
Now, this tour, there's more than just a performance. Tell us about the Sky Academy project you got going on in the pre-show event over at the concert.
Yeah. Before each show on that tour in the afternoon and in the same venue, I'm going to hold a guitar seminar. And geared for guitar players who want to know basically a little bit, get some insight into how I'm doing certain things and why I'm doing it. I'm also performing several pieces during that, which are not part of the program. And that's that. So every day, every stop of the tour, it'll be like a full blast scenario. By the end, people will be totally sick of me. But we will see. We will see what happens. Talking about Sky Academy is something different. That's a teaching seminar, which I haven't been doing for many years, but we're now picking that up again. And just before Easter, no, just actually over Easter, this coming Easter holiday period, we're doing 4 days in Long Beach, California. You can find out all the detail and description on my website. It's ulijonroth.com. And yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at the tour itinerary right now, and I'm in Rochester, New York, and I see 3 dates within an hour drive of where I'm sitting. The real question here, Uli, is what's it going to take you get to Rochester? Because we have the world famous House of Guitars.
I think I've played Rochester before, if I'm not mistaken, but that's many years ago.
Yeah.
So,
I missed.
But you see, we go where the promoters want us. So we've got an agent. He phones around. He said, "Hey, he's in America," and then people say, "Yeah, I want that," or "I don't want that."
Yeah.
So apparently there was nobody in Rochester.
Well, that's funny you say that, because we do dip our toe in club promoting Metal Mayhem RLC, and if we would have known, then possibly. But like I said, we have 3 dates within an hour drive in any direction. You're up at Buffalo, New York. You're in Syracuse. Yeah. You're in Canada. I mean, Canandaigua. It's right down the street, but that's great. We're lucky that you're here. Some of our listeners,
we can do Rochester as well. I mean, we still have a couple of days free there. Just talk to our agent.
Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, our diehard fans, they sometimes go to 2 or even 3 shows, you know. I don't think it'll eat into the tickets.
Well,
Oh yeah, talk to him. His name is Dean Sweat.
talking about diehard fans, we have a listener question when I posted this that we were going to do this, and Bill Lander of Melbourne, Florida wants to ask you, seeing that you don't see this often when a member of a prominent band leaves, there's sometimes bad blood. Question is, do you ever talk with the guys from the Scorpions? Do you maintain a social relationship? And what do you think about the Scorpions music after you left?
Well, first of all, there was never any bad blood
Mm-hmm.
between the Scorpions and me. I left on very good terms. It was a decision I made purely on artistic grounds. And afterwards, we stayed friends, you know. In fact, we played many concerts in the early 2000s together. So all that's fine. Regarding the music, uh, Klaus and Rudolf are an amazing songwriter team, and they produce a lot of great albums and great songs. You know, they're just an outstanding songwriting team.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the point Bill was making, that you folks, you guys have stayed true to each other, and it's refreshing. You know, there's no bad blood, there's no nothing like that. So,
Yeah, no, with us there was never anything like that. You know,
mm-hmm.
the band was very, very harmonious when I was in there. We never had any arguments. There was never any, you know, there were maybe a couple of artistic differences, but we always spoke about everything in a civilized manner, and there was never a raised voice in anger, like you have in so many bands who have fallings out. But we didn't have any of it.
Well,
Nothing.
that's awesome. Now you mentioned
Yeah.
the set of the night when you bring the band out. Tell us about the band you have. Is it a continuous band? Is it the band you hand on to 70,000
Yeah.
watts? Bruce?
Yeah, it's mainly the same band I've had for many years, you know. And there's Nicholas Turman is doing the lead vocals and playing the bass. Got David Kozinski on guitar. Both have been with me for a long time. Nicholas since 2008. Then the keyboard player Corvin Bond, he's been with me since 2006. You know, having said that, after the Iridium shows, Corvin will have to go back to Europe, and my daughter Akasha will take over from him for the rest of the tour on keyboard. Um, yeah. And drums, Jamie Little, who doesn't always play drums with me, but we've done a lot of touring together, including America, and he also was the one who recorded the Scorpion Revisited album and Tokyo Kids Revisited.
Well, that's awesome. It's consistency, and good for you. So,
Yeah, no, it's a great band. You know, we've had a lot of experience together, and you can't beat that. You know.
well, again, I mentioned at the top of the interview that I'm a big fan. 14-year-old, the Vernomatic, that's my radio name. Me and my buddies, we discovered the Scorpions in that period, and just great stuff, sir. The Taken by Force, Virgin Killer, Fly to the Rainbow. It's great stuff. And again, this is a celebration of the entire Ulrich Jon Roth era. The Interstellar Sky Guitar Tour starts April 2nd in California, runs through the middle of the spring, late spring. And it's just a great 3-hour music all the way through his career, and celebrating this technology innovation that Uli has put his life work into. And it's a, props to you, sir. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? We look forward to it, and I'll look into possibly getting into Rochester. If not, I'll get to one of these shows and we'll stop in and say hello.
I'm all for it, actually. You know, I'd love to play Rochester. No problem.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy your day, and thank you for taking the time, Uli.
No, you were very welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Metal for Life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.